burp out of here. Okay.
Oh, God.
Okay.
It's Monday.
Yep.
It's a minisode, and we've got some changes, and we've got some submissions, and we've got a whole slew of information. It is Everyone Sucks Here. We are your hosts, Sam, Sushie, and AJ, coming to you live.
Well,
It's not live.
it's not live.
From
In fact, it's not
a
live.
recording.
Live from recording.
We are here.
Live at a studio audience of narcolepsies.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of narcolepsy, I got the vaccine and I've been asleep for 48 hours.
She got the vaccine.
Damn. I can't wait to do that.
Can't wait to get that
it's the
vaccine.
best sleep of my life.
It's gonna be awesome. Gonna get that. Gonna get them drugs in my arm. Gonna get them
And
drugs
then I'm
in
gonna
my
slut
arm.
it up on the beach this summer. Yes.
Yeah.
Gonna slut it up on that
I'm gonna slut it up.
New
Slut
York-
it up. Wait.
New York Harbor Beach.
Oh, God.
Do you guys see that? You guys see that video of that?
No.
Oh, it's this fucking gross ass TikTok. Because of course it is. This fucking I don't know if
You leave TikTok alone. Okay?
I don't know if it's a woman or a kid because it's like it's a girl, right? So I don't know if she's a teenager or 20 something, right? And she's on the back of a speedboat and she waves, and she jumps into the harbor in New York, like in front of the Statue of Liberty.
Okay.
And when she jumps
Well,
into
that's
it,
by where I work.
it ripples out the brownest, fucking grossest water you.
It's a river.
Yeah.
It's not the ocean. It's the Hudson River.
It's so gross. Like it looks
my
like
God.
it's so brown and so disgusting. You're like, damn, how much like waste and bodies and how much.
Oh, God.
There
Yeah.
are
A lot.
bodies, though. There are bodies.
Oh,
That's
there are
facts.
bodies.
That's big facts.
There's definitely waste. It's just everything. It's just, oh god.
They're actually, it's a lot cleaner than it used to be.
That's
Which is not saying a lot.
yeah.
But it is cleaner than it. Well, the fact that oysters
Are coming back.
live there, yeah, that's actually a really good sign. Oysters live there and they do their damn thing.
But the fact they have 3 shells apiece and an arm is the weird part.
Hey, no one said you had to eat them, but they are
A
doing
human
their job.
arm.
Yeah. It's like the fish from The Simpsons.
Yeah. Would you eat this fish?
Yes.
Would you eat this oyster?
Maybe. Probably. Me? Yeah, I would.
So one of us is vaccinated. That means that
Half
someone is half vaccinated. That means someone's gonna ship half their body out here for
Yes.
for hangouts.
Half of us is going to slut it up in Portland. Let's go.
Put a bird on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, put a fucking bird on it. I love that show. I don't care.
You just you decide you find your swimsuit. You decide which half you're like donning, and the other half is a hazmat suit.
Oh, okay.
So like you just got to decide, which half of you has been protected from the virus. That way,
What if we like roll the dice and
Oh.
just see what happens?
I don't think I like that. I feel like we've been rolling the dice for an entire 2 years, and I'm not okay with that anymore. I need fucking structure.
All right. Fair.
So I mentioned some changes. We've discussed some things, and we're gonna mention this again on the full episode. For those of you miscreants that skip the minisodes, how dare you? How dare you?
Oh.
These are just as good. All right, so they're just as good. All right, so we have some changes. Those changes are
Yes.
our episodes are too fucking long. they've been getting really bloated, and we've been having a lot of fun making them. But the problem is, what do we cut out? What do we do? How do we change this? How do we make it so like it's not a 2-hour recording session, or really it's longer than that because it gets edited
takes, like,
down.
5 hours
It takes
for us
so long. So we're dedicating a lot of time, but also you guys don't have 2 hours to listen to a podcast episode. That's a long time. That's a movie. Not saying we can't compete with fucking Avengers Endgame or whatever, but like we're not trying to right now. Like maybe we are. Maybe in a year. Maybe we'll roll the die. But
No more rolling die. We're done.
anyway, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna continue the minisodes as we do them. It's gonna be the standard relationships, am I the asshole, and misconnections. Except surprise, today there's not going to be misconnections. Why? Because we've got a really long relationships to get to, and we're trying to keep the episodes down. So you can. That was my choice because my minisode. You guys can send that hate towards me. Sorry.
Good.
There'll be a misconnections next week.
I'm ready.
But it was literally just because of the length of this, because I want to get to my Am I the Asshole and do this one. But then on full episodes, we're just going to do 2 of us reads Am I the Assholes and relationships. So basically, whomever it was that did the minisode is just not going to read on the full episodes. We're still going to be here. We're all through talking. But, and we're just going to rotate it that way. So we're just going to cut down just a little bit. Still going to get a lot of information here. A lot of bullshit. A lot of dumpster garbage.
Ooh.
Lots of it.
Juicy.
I feel like I'm talking way more, and I need you guys to like say something or go, yeah, or like, yeah, okay, yeah.
That's really unfortunate, AJ.
I just want everyone to know if they don't like it, they have to send the hate mail to AJ specifically.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he doesn't read his emails, so it's okay. No one will. No one will be hurt.
I read the emails, all right? I read the contact@everyonesuckshere.com, which is where you can send emails if you have issues or submissions like these ones we're going to get to.
Yay.
The problem is that I do read them, and then I forget that I read them, and then we have situations like today where I put this off.
We need a Trello.
For 3 weeks.
We need to put these submissions on a Trello.
We're going to have something soon.
Oh.
That sounds like a threat.
I know, right?
We're going to have something soon.
God.
Soon.
So we've got a lot of cool things.
Impressive.
We've got another cool thing in the works that I've been working on secretly in the background.
What? What?
Sam knows about it. Sushi knows about it, but Sushi hasn't seen it yet. Even though I sent Sushi a link to it.
Yeah, what the fuck?
But she over here being too busy.
I kind of love having ADHD because every day's brand new. Every fucking day. It's like, what are you talking about? Oh, yeah, that thing.
Yeah, I sent her a link and I was like all proud. I was like, I hope Sushi likes this. And then 3 weeks later, nothing. But yeah, we got some things we're making in the background here. It's a communal thing, a community thing that I think you guys are gonna like. That's coming up. So, but in the light of making sure we get these episodes out and they're not super lengthy, I'm gonna jump into my Sam, fuck up. I'm gonna jump into my Am I the Asshole story here.
Okay.
So, alrighty. Hope you guys like that update. Again, let us know. Send us feedback.
Feedback is great. I mean, it's too early to tell, so if you don't like it and we haven't done it yet, fuck you.
Yeah.
Because we haven't done it. But, in a couple weeks.
Yeah, we're going to try it out for a few weeks or whatever and see how it goes.
Let us know.
It's literally all we're doing is whomever reads stories on Monday just isn't going to read them on Wednesday. And that way we just don't, it also saves us because you guys don't understand. Whenever we do these minisodes, we have to do double the research for whoever has the minisode. So it's like, if Sam's got a minisode, she now has to do research twice for that 1 week. Just for the full and the minisodes. So it's a lot more, but overall, I think this will make our full episode slim down. I think this will be good.
I thought you were doing a relationship.
No, I'm doing Am I the Asshole because the submission was relationship.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'm pretty sure it was relationship. It looked relationship oriented. I didn't fully read it. We're going to find out together as a family. Alrighty.
Family.
Am I the Asshole for my reaction to my friend's baby name?
I almost picked this one until I saw AJ had picked it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a long one. It's baby names here. I feel like people have way more to say about baby names than they need to, but whatever.
I agree.
Thanks to those who. Oh wait, this is an edit. Oh god. Okay. Wow. Did she just update the whole thing and
Do this right there?
Okay. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. She did a 2-tier edit and she just didn't say where the edit stopped or the update stopped. Okay. So there's an update to this. I'll get to that afterwards. This is the first one of my friends to have a baby, so I haven't run into this before. My friend, quote, Kelsey, just found out she is having a girl. She announced on social media with a picture of her ultrasound and a frame with the baby's name. She mentioned her favorite name had been Bindi, spelled Bindi, by the way. But she told me it was... But she was told it was cultural appropriation, so she picked out something similar. The name Bundy Sky.
What?
Bundy spelled with an I.
Yeah.
And Sky spelled with an E.
Yeah. So
Ew.
Bundisky.
Instead of Bindi?
Instead of Bindi, she went for Bundy.
I hate it here.
The first thing that came to my mind was Ted Bundy. I didn't comment or anything on the post. She reached out later and messaged me. So I can tell by your silence you don't like the name. Why? Be honest, is what she said. I responded, the first thing that came to mind was the association with Ted Bundy. Sorry. She was extremely pissed off and sent me a long message, or a long angry message I won't quote here, but the gist of it was that I have a sick mind, and just because I'm obsessed with messed up people doesn't mean everyone is, and that's not what most people will think of. I'm not obsessed with Ted Bundy at all. It's just the first thing it's just the first association that came to mind. Am I the asshole?
The first thing that I thought about was Al Bundy from Married with Children.
That's what a lot of people were saying.
Both aren't like a great association.
Yeah,
But Bundy is not a good name for a fucking girl. Like,
come here, Bundy.
Yeah, Bundy? Like, but why?
so I'm pretty sure Steve Irwin named his kid Bindi, right? Bindi Irwin?
I'm not a fucking huge fan of that.
Yeah. After a crocodile?
Right.
So now the general, I'll get to the update in just a second,
Okay.
but the pretty much unanimous decision that she's not the asshole here. And the thing is,
For just having an opinion?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, I don't think it's a fucking stupid opinion. I typically go to Al Bundy too. Again, not that Bundy is a good name, but even if you did go to Ted Bundy, that doesn't mean like you're like, oh, you're sick and obsessed.
Oh my
it's just,
God.
That's like, there's a reason that like there's literally a reason that the name Adolf is pretty much off the table. You know, like for so many people, it's just like you don't go there because you're obsessed with Nazis. It's just because it's just so associated with it.
Right, you just associate it.
The fact the fact that she literally was like, you have a sick mind means that she had already been told that it was stupid.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Also, did she ask this person their opinion, or was the opinion unsolicited?
Yeah, because she said, well, it sounded like she asked because she was like, oh, you were quiet.
Then if she asked, you can't get mad.
Yeah, because she approached her and was like, you were so quiet. Why?
This was a classic case of be honest with me and I don't like your opinion.
Yeah.
Be honest, but don't be honest. Yep.
Be honest, but lie to me.
Don't ask me my opinion, because I'm not going to come out of my mouth and tell you how I feel. But on the same, like the different side of the same coin, don't ask me my opinion because you're going to get it.
Do you know how many times Sushi's made me cry?
All the time. And I probably will again.
That's a lot.
Just don't. But if you don't want to cry, I'm not a bully. You know? I think that's the difference.
No, it's literally.
Person probably isn't also. If you ask me, that's on you.
Yeah. It shouldn't be that big of a deal to just ask a question and.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So the update says, update. I showed Kelsey this post. Apparently she got negative feedback from other people IRL too. She had calmed down since her initial tirade and done more research. After realizing that Bundy calls to mind a serial killer or alcohol for most people, and after looking into the appropriation issue, she decided to go with Bindi. Thanks for those who pointed out the, quote, BS issue with the initials. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Bundy Sky, yeah.
Bundy Sky.
BS.
So she went with Bindi?
She went with Bindi.
I hate her!
So she immediately decided to change the middle name when she saw that. So the baby's name is now, and then she fucking has these hyphens like for, anticipation, bated breath. Bindi Rain. Rayne.
Bindi is not a motherfucking name. It is a thing.
Bindi belongs in an ink machine, all right?
Yes. Might as well name it Bendy. Like, what? I don't understand. I hate it here. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of the name.
I was, honestly, I don't see the problem with it. I would go, like, just to be a little bit more feminine, I would maybe change the B to, like, an H. Like, I think that would be... That way you avoid the whole appropriation issue, like Hindi is a great name.
Around the bush.
How come people
How come people? I don't understand. So a bindi, if anyone is listening and they don't know what it is like a jewel or this little thing that you stick on your forehead, and it tells like if you're married. It just tells a story. It's like an identifier. It's not a fucking name. It is a thing. It's like
Pencil. You named your child Pencil.
Your pencil eraser. Like I don't understand. Or a
hair
traffic
tie.
light.
Yeah.
You just sound fucking stupid, and it gets me all hopped up and angry inside. Tell me you're white without telling me you're white.
Right.
Kid Bindi.
It's after a crocodile.
You're white.
Like, oh my,
What's worse, naming your kid after your favorite crocodile or naming your kid after an identifier?
I would say an identifier, because at least like you can like a crocodile is like, it's an animal you can have like an emotional connection with, I guess. An identifier is an identifier. It's not even like someone's identifier. It's like an identifier. Like,
yeah. Like, oh, you're single. Got it.
The
like,
fact
all right.
that this woman went straight for Bundy instead.
Why was that better?
She literally.
Why did we settle on Bindi, which was the original reason why you were like, maybe I shouldn't name my kid Bindi because it sounds like appropriation, because it is. You go back to it. And
she literally looked at her keyboard, hyper-focused on the I, and shifted her eyes one letter left. I mean, it could have been worse. She could have gone one letter right, and it could have been Bondi.
But, like, the whole story sucks. Everyone sucks here.
Yeah, I think...
I know this is...
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to agree with that. And why am I going to agree with that? Because, one, the friend is stupid, but two... I would have given so little shits about this that I wouldn't have even posted it on this fucking... I wouldn't have wasted anyone else's time with this, right? But then she wasted my time because it popped up, so now I had to waste everyone else's time with it. But I wouldn't have written this shit out like, my friend named their fucking stupid baby a stupid name. You know what I would have done?
Stupid name.
I would have disowned that friend and moved on with my life.
Right?
I don't understand.
Like,
I hate it here.
At no point am I going to go write a post about my friend's baby's dumb name. The most I'm going to do is say to my friends, like, man, that baby got a dumb name.
True.
That's the conversation I'm going to be having. But it's not going to be
That's going to be the three
my God.
in the corner.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if the kid's ugly too and got a stupid name?
That's unfortunate.
That's unfortunate. And the thing is, typically people who name their kids dumb things, they just have that ugly gene, you know? It's like if you're naming your child like, you know, Cadence, but it's spelled with a Q-U-A-Y.
Stop it.
D-I-N-C-E.
God. I hear you got a really long relationship.
I do.
We're giving AJ the Apollo hook.
I do. So, okay, this came from Kumiko, all right? So, I told you we were getting to it. We're getting to it now. Kumiko, aka Sparkwolf on YouTube. This is long, and it's in white text, and I'm trying to get it so I can read it without stumbling through it. Probably should have had Sam do this one. She good at that reading game when it comes to
reading.
When it comes to reading. All right, here we go. This is the submission.
Okay.
Hello.
I finally found my bronzer. Yes.
ADHD, brought to you by Sushie. Hello again, ESH podcasters. Kumiko / Sparkwolf here. Again. I had to swallow. And
You ever just produce too much saliva?
all the time. And that little tangent on the newest episode 36, about someone calling you by name excessively in a conversation reminded me of literally my own father. And just for a little refresher, we were talking about, I had a little story about getting called, like when during training at one point, for a job at one point, having the person call me by my name incessantly, like, oh yeah, AJ.
We also had a story.
Yeah. I know, but I'm just saying in regard to this, just like this is the general gist of it for those who missed it. Just like people who incessantly say your name, like Sam, like, you know, like, I understand that you're listening to me, Sam, but, you know, I really want you to understand what I'm saying, Sam, like that kind of stuff.
You're triggering me, so I'm like,
exactly. That's what I was dealing with. So that's for just a refresher for those wondering what Kumiko is referencing here. Anyway, back to the story. I didn't realize it until about a year after moving out of my parents' house for my first year of college, but I somehow learned at 19 that it's not common or normal to be called by name to such an excessive degree in any conversation. Based on the example AJ gave in the episode, my dad includes my name in just about every possible phrase that he can, and he somehow doesn't realize how awkward it feels. He also speaks to me in public spaces, such as in restaurants before the pandemic, as one does, and in doing so, nearby people are able to hear as well. It would be fine if I was in a group of friends and being referred to by name occasionally, which would make sense. However, it's just the two of us, or my mother will also be there. I brought up to him how awkward it sounds, and he acknowledged it, but he hasn't made any steps to try to control it or even be more mindful about it. At this point in my life, I've accepted that any issues I have with him will be acknowledged and then promptly forgotten.
Oh no.
That sounds like a parent.
Yeah, right.
That sounds like
just not acknowledging like actual concerns. Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
They're going about that. They're going about that social media. We see you. We hear you. That's it.
Oh my god.
If I'm going to get my point across, I absolutely have to be drastic, cause a scene, scream at him, or anything else that basically embarrasses him in front of complete strangers. A very unhealthy way to do it, I know, but it's the only way he'll actually stop certain behaviors towards me. I have another story on how I discovered that later if you want to read it. There was a specific occasion where we were eating in a restaurant in early 2019, and someone saw I wanted to avoid. I do have to say, I think it's interesting how now when any of us like refer to eating in a restaurant, we're all so quickly
right?
Like, we have to reference the date because it's like, oh shit, I don't want people to think I'm a Republican, you know? Like,
I didn't vote for Trump.
Like, I gotta say the date.
Yo, we don't fuck Republicans in this house.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, but I appreciate the date because honestly, there are people out there, i.e. us, who'd be like, "What are you doing to eat in a restaurant?" Like,
you fucking fuckhead.
Okay. Anyway,
That's just me.
we're assholes. Everyone sucks here. All right. We don't claim to not.
Yeah.
And I saw someone I wanted to avoid. The father of one of my previous roommates, a nice guy, but he talks a lot, and I wasn't feeling very sociable at the time. I just wanted to eat lunch and go home, but my dad was talking about something important, like finding a real job. That's my dad voice. Or how to file taxes, or why I should get a master's degree in molecular biology or bioinformatics, or talking about the importance of statistics, constantly peppering my name into just about every statement he was making towards me. I was ducking down to hide from the guy I was trying to avoid, and my dad began raising his voice, thinking I was no longer listening to him, calling me by my first name multiple times to pull my attention back to him. It was at that time I had to make it absolutely clear to him why I don't want him calling me by my name in public. I do not want to be recognized by people I consider to be strangers, and I especially do not want to be recognized by people I actually want to avoid. He somehow doesn't know how to carry on a conversation without inserting my name into every sentence, so he stopped talking altogether, which made it even more awkward. I'm sorry, I peeked on that. That was my bad. I got excited. Even more awkward. Because
just be normal, dude.
Right?
That's all.
It's just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
The two of us. Why you gotta make it weird?
Gonna get DMCA, just the two of us.
That's fine. That other podcast uses the whole entire X-Files theme song. It's fine.
You're right.
Wow.
Thankfully, there was enough background noise coming from the restaurant's kitchen to sort of break the weird silence, and after he received his food, the guy left. Afterward, my dad continued talking to me, inserting my name into every sentence again. Another annoying part about this issue is that I'm still closeted to him, since I did hear him talking about the human rights campaign and how he will support gay people despite being annoyed by them, and how bisexual, trans, intersex, etc. people don't matter. So I will... Now, keep in mind, I'm quoting this man. That's not me saying that.
I know, but like,
I know. I just.
It's weird that like I know people feel that way, but it's weird hearing it. I'm like,
right.
Well, it's weird. It's the weird selectiveness of people too.
Yeah.
Where it's like you see it all the time with fucking racists too. Like, it's always like the racist dude married to a fucking black woman who's got a black baby.
Right.
But like
Right.
there really is like that whole thing of like, oh man, like I don't like gay people, but then like their daughter's gay and they're like, well, yeah, it's because, I love women so much. I passed that gene along. How couldn't I? I'm such a man. It's like this weird turnaround bullshit. And you're like, oh, like somehow like they're trying to rationalize it. And she's like, just, dude, it's okay. Like your daughter's gay. Like it's fine.
You're right.
You're gonna be all right. You're gonna get through this.
We're gonna get through this. Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's always that weird rationalization that like for their own kids or relationships they'll be fine, but for everybody, it's dumb. Anyway, so I will probably never tell him that I'm actually trans, and by extension, I'll have to keep it hidden from my mom too, since she has let some of my previous secrets slip out to him before. He constantly refers to me by my birth name, so it gets extremely unnerving when I have to hear my name come up more frequently over a single lunch meeting than during the entire rest of the month when I'm literally anywhere else. I might feel differently about it if I had a more common birth name like, quote, David or, heaven forbid, Kyle.
No.
But I have an uncommon English name. It's even weirder because I'm full-blooded Japanese. I don't like hearing my birth name at all. It never felt like it fit to me, so I chose my own name and settled on Kumiko. But every weekend, I have to meet with both my parents for lunch. Yes, they have been visiting me every weekend, even during the pandemic. Well, is it weird to say that if you're full-blooded Japanese, I would say I'm not surprised by that? It's like
meet his parents.
Yeah, and by the parents visiting every single day, it just seems like that makes sense.
Like a cultural thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, yeah, like, just I'm not surprised. And I feel like if you didn't go, it's one of those situations, you're going to be made to feel terrible or something because you're their kid and parents are weird to their kids and they want to make us all feel terrible.
Right.
He still overuses my name to this day. I'm 34. Another side note, whenever my dad talks about his, quote, important topics, he basically conditioned me to always respond to every single sentence with some sort of acknowledgement like, or yes, or right. And I know this annoys a lot of people, but if I don't do that while he's talking to me, he immediately thinks I'm ignoring him and will raise his voice and start yelling at me. In some cases, he'll guilt trip me into thinking that I no longer love him simply because I don't feel like listening to him ramble on about dead computer programming languages.
Oh, no.
Fortran, COBOL, BASIC, etc.
No.
To be honest, I find it difficult to find anything about him that will make me, quote, love him as a father when this is the smallest issue I have with him. Oh, so, okay. One, Kumiko, sorry that you're going through all this. I'm not going to say your name. I'm just addressing you here. Mm-hmm. Sorry that you're going through this. Again, you already know my feelings about how much that annoys me getting called by my name constantly. And I like my name. So, like, I'm fine with my name, and it annoys me getting called by my name. So I can't even imagine. Yeah, it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine, like, getting not only getting called by a name, but you're getting dead named constantly.
Yeah.
So, like,
almost every weekend.
Yeah, every weekend. Yeah, and then that's a whole other issue. So I definitely empathize with the fact that you're dealing with that. That's awful. Also, in regards to the little side note with the having to acknowledge what you're saying,
I hate that.
I hate it.
Yeah, I hate it.
And I'm not saying I hate when you or people do that. I'm saying I hate when people need an acknowledgement. Yeah. Because like I and just as a very small aside, and I do understand that I do work from home, so whenever I do calls on a phone, like whenever I talk to somebody from work, I have to acknowledge because I'm over a phone, there's
you
no
can't
just
camera.
go dead silent.
Yeah, that's
but like
different.
if you are working, or if you're at work or you're out in the world or just having a conversation with a normal person, and you're meeting them and you're meeting their gaze, that should be fucking enough. You know, like if I'm looking at you and I'm acknowledging you, like I can.
Or nodding your head.
Yeah, nodding your head. I can understand like if you're talking to somebody and they're looking away from you or they're looking at their phone or whatever. Because sometimes like people do get distracted, they'll start looking at their phone and they did zone out and you have no idea. They just didn't pay attention to what you're saying. But if they're like looking at you and you're at a dinner, like it's kind of hard to like, yeah, I heard you. We're sitting at the same table.
Yeah.
Like we're here. Like so no, I get it. That shit is annoying. Like having to like why do I have to go out of my way to make you feel comfortable, but you won't go out of your way to make me feel comfortable. That's literally the issue. Like
a lot of parents have that problem though too, where they refuse to acknowledge that they've made their kids uncomfortable, or it's more of a I'm the parent anyway. It doesn't matter what your comfort is.
Right. Yeah. I'm the
which
boss
is a
here.
huge
It's like,
which is a huge issue. It's a huge issue. Yeah, especially when you have adult children that you're interacting with too.
yeah.
Like that is a major issue, and parents don't realize how quickly adult children will just fucking cut you off for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Like,
don't have time. We don't have the time for this.
like, listen, we'll cut off our real friends who we talk to all the fucking time because they said some head ass shit. All right, like,
Yeah, or did some head ass shit.
yeah. It's one of those things. Like, I feel like when it comes to parents, there is no winning, and you know, I strictly remember, and it'll always stick in my head, going to visit my grandparents on my dad's side, and seeing my grandparents treat my dad like a child, you know? And it's like, I loved my grandparents. I thought they were the best. But like, I would see my dad and my grandpa get in these fights, and it's the same kind of fights that I'd get in with my dad that I'm going to get in forever because he just won't fucking listen. And a lot of times it would be something that my dad might be right on, but you know, because it's his dad, it's just like, it's just not going to get through. It doesn't matter how old you are. You're a kid to them.
I also feel like there's a completely different dynamic between grandparents and grandchildren too, because there's just something about like that, like skipping a generation, like when grandparents finally have like grandchildren that they somehow treat them better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They can kind of like see themselves from the outside a little bit, or just see the situation differently.
It's literally like one of those situations where like my grandpa could probably say something, and I could be like, oh, actually, you know, they did this, and this, and he'd be like, oh, that's great, that's fascinating. My dad could be that, and I'm like, that's not what's happening.
Yeah,
they're not doing that. They don't have that technology.
Yeah, it's something stupid like that. In regards to the whole like, you know, responding. Oh boy.
Babies.
There's probably a delivery truck. Somewhere.
Presents.
Maybe some presents. We can never have surprises here.
Yeah.
So in regards to the whole like, you know, responding like yeah, whatever. So I guess I somewhere along the lines I've picked up this, like when I respond, instead of saying yeah once, I'll be like, oh, right. Or yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I remember this pissed off someone at a job I was working at because she was explaining something to me and I was like, oh, okay. All right. You know, or something like that, you know? And I only did it once, but she literally looked at me and was like, are you trying to end my conversation? I was like, no.
I could see it though, because like it's specifically with the way you say yeah, because it's like I know that you're just acknowledging it, but it does come off as like you're trying to speed through this, like you're trying to get me to finish saying what I'm saying or whatever, and like that's what it comes off. And I'm not saying me personally, but I'm saying like that's how it's specifically the word yeah. Like if you say yeah, like it comes off more of like a. Okay, I get it. Just shut the fuck up. You know, like, but if you say like, oh, okay. You know, like that's like, but at the same time, okay, almost seems like slow down a little bit. You know, like it's weird, but there's something about the repeat words that like I could see why people like I
feel like I've gotten a little better at it. I don't know where the fuck I picked it up at, but
I don't know, but I know I picked it up from you.
Yay! You do it now.
So like I have to try to like not do it when I'm talking to people at work or whatever. Like yeah, shut the fuck up. You know. Because I do say that sometimes now, and I catch myself. So I'm like, dial it back. It's like I'm literally just agreeing with you. But yeah, so I can understand people. It's that weird thing. There's a whole like psychological thing element to it. It's like the whole like we like Sam and I have talked about this before too, and it's something that I personally want to get better at, and it's reading negative intent in things. And I feel like a lot of people are predisposed to like doing that. So like when someone says yeah, and you immediately jump on the fact that you think they're trying to get past you, you're reading the negative intent, but there was no negative intent there. And there's actually like I feel like I personally do that a lot with things, and I don't know if it's just because I'm jaded or cynical about a lot of things now, and I do try to get better about that. I'm always going to be cynical about shit, but like I do think it's, to a degree, it can be unhealthy to read the negative intent in things too much, and it comes off. It's not just situations like those, but there's a lot of things there. So like that's just something that like I feel like so many people do it, and especially in everyday conversation. Yeah. So like, and I feel like parents do it with every critique that you may give them. So in Kumiko's instance
I would
here,
agree with that.
it's literally like she could literally be like, "Hey, can you just like not say my name this much because it's bothering me, and it literally has nothing to do with you saying it, but it's just the fact that it's like you're saying it so much, it's actually like it's grating me. I can't explain it. I don't have a reason. It's bothering me. But like she could say that.
Me.
Yeah, exactly. She could say that in the most normal, calm, rational way, but the parents will always read the negative intent that wasn't there, and it's like it's just a thing that like. The more I think about it, because I watched a whole fucking video about this shit at one point, and it made me realize, like, oh shit, I do that a lot. Like, not like in this, but I do read negative intent more often than I should. But it's made me kind of more aware that, like, parents do this with everything you say, and it's not even, it's not even just things that, like, say, like, you want to correct something, like, that they're doing. It could be, I could go to my dad or my mom, and I could say something that somebody else did to me, and they'll immediately think it was a bad thing. But even if it's not a bad thing, it's that they'll read the negative intent elsewhere in a protective way even. Like I could be like, oh yeah, and then this happened. They're like, well, why'd that happen? I'm like, no, that's a good thing. No, like that they're helping me. Like, oh, why would they log into your computer? No, because I needed them to. They were helping me. It's like this weird thing. And I just feel like parents are predisposed to immediately assume or go for the negative aspects of everything that comes out of your mouth if you're a kid. Like, so this whole, like, you don't love me nonsense, like, not that I'm saying that he should be saying this at all or that I condone that, but it's just like they're weirdly predisposed to, like, jump to the farthest fucking possible reach. And you're
it's like why did you go there?
Yeah, how did you get that far? Like, you are reaching right now. Like, this is some Stretch Armstrong bullshit, but, like...
Buddy.
But yeah, I'm glad that there's somebody else out there that can empathize with the fact that I can't stand having my name used a million times in the same sentence. That is,
it's a little bit much sometimes.
It's a little bit much. It's tedious.
And then we're adding dead naming on top.
On top of it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
issue. That's like just a basic common decency and respect thing.
Yeah. And I don't know. That's a tough situation because, again, it's parents. It's you have to go to this lunch every. I'm not gonna pretend to even know what's going on in your family dynamic as to why you have to go to this lunch every weekend or whatever. But like, I know that kind of shit is super fucking stressful, and I don't know. I don't know if that's something you can talk to your mom about, but like, listen. Dad will not shut the fuck up.
Right.
It has been...
Maybe she'll turn around and
she'll be... It has been 15 years, Mom. Like,
maybe she'll turn around and she'll be like, yeah, I know. Like,
yeah. Maybe you'll at least have like... Maybe you'll have like a little thing, like, oh, yeah.
Maybe you can bond over talking shit about your dad.
Right?
Because I bet your mom has stories, She's waiting to spill the tea.
Yeah.
She'd be like, you don't know the half of it. This is what they did before you were even born. Sit down.
I'm curious if their dad named them. And that's why they use it over and over and over again.
I don't know.
Oh, my God.
I don't know.
They have like a weird ownership over it?
like, it's a weird, and like, obviously I'm not a parent, so I can't speak to this either, but it makes you, I'm curious, I guess.
Did Midna hear that, AJ? Because she's gonna shit in your shoes now.
She's probably doing it right now because she got locked in the bedroom. She's howling at FedEx or whatever. But
Hates those fuckers.
Koji is like, I'm just trying to sleep.
I'm all doped up.
I'm all doped up. But like, I'm curious for the parents out there. Not that they really have any stake in the claim or whatever. But like, again, maybe it comes to a negative 10 thing. But like, is that do parents take it as like an attack on themselves, like for trans individuals who rename themselves? Like, it's like when because I guess you think about it, like, I wouldn't be surprised, nor do I think it's wrong for them to be like a little upset. I think they need to understand and cope with that and move past it, because like one of the most important things that like parents come up with is like, oh, a baby name. They spend so long thinking of a baby name, and then suddenly like kids like, I don't like that name. Okay, so like I can understand them getting that, but at the same time, I think that should be akin to like when you give a gift to somebody and they don't really like it, and you're like, okay, that's okay.
They returned it.
Yeah, they returned it. That's okay. There was
that's
actually, okay. Like they didn't like, it's the thought that counts. You gave them a name. You tried. You gave them life. Like,
there was actually a relationship story that I read a while ago that kind of touched base on that. And basically what it was is that this person came out as trans to their mother and told the mother what they wanted their name to be. And the only reason the mother was upset was because it didn't sound like a name that would come from their country, and really wanted them to choose a name
based off of
that.
Yeah.
Which is tough.
That
was really the only thing the mother was upset with.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, I'm sure there's a lot of like multifaceted like levels to it too, because you like kind of like that story had, you're like kind of like a weird appropriation thing of like, okay, well, maybe like stick within like, where you're from or whatever, so don't rename yourself Bindi, like,
or Bundy,
but like I'm sure there's depth to it, but I think it's all on a case by case basis. Some people, they might have named their child after their dying aunt or whatever, and like, but again, it's all case by case, and that's all for them to figure out. But at the same time, I think it's really important for the parents to realize that because someone's changing their name, they're not dishonoring the person they were named after. They're not dishonoring the country they were from or whatever, like whatever the reason is, they're doing it because they feel more comfortable to be fucking called any name but the name that they are given right now, like,
I mean, it's such a strange concept to begin with, that like you give birth to this baby, or you adopt a baby or whatever, and this little person has no say over anything, right? And so a lot of people are like, man, we really want to know their personality before we name them. But it's so hard to. You can't really do that because people change throughout their lifetime. And that's really tough. Like, how do you come up with a name that's going to suit them for supposedly the rest of their life, I'm
going to wait till my kid's 25. I'm going to give him a name.
I'd be like, you know what? We've waited long enough.
Yeah. Like,
now you pick your own
we're
name.
Ready to name you.
Yeah.
Pick your own name.
He's gonna be the star player of the Xanarkand Apes the entire time. I'll get around life without ever referring to him by name. Hey, you.
Child. Offspring.
Yeah. But that is a thing too. Like it's
didn't Sandra Bullock have that problem in Bird Box?
Yeah.
Where
Boy,
she just
girl.
named boy and girl.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're right.
It's a weird, names are a weird thing because we live in a society. We live in a society.
I feel like I say we live in a society once a week. We live in a society.
But we live in a society where, especially nowadays, and it becomes more prevalent every year that goes by, that we as human beings are autonomous human beings. We have our own autonomy. Like we decide what we want to do. We can do whatever the fuck we want. At any point in time, I could just fucking push over this monitor and break everything. I could if I wanted to. I'm not going to because I'm not fucking a psychopath. But you have the ability to do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want. Nobody can stop you. Yet, people want to get weird because you want to change your name. You know, like, it's like, okay, so why can't I control literally every other aspect? I can tattoo myself. I can cut my own hair. I could dye my hair. I could do whatever I want. I could get like dermals and I could fucking physically alter my body in any way. But they're like, but you can't change the name. Like, why? Like, who gives a fuck? Like,
why?
I don't even want to be called human no more. I want to be called a different thing. You know, like,
same.
Like, it's just like, who cares? Who cares? It doesn't matter. Like, let people do what the fuck they want. Doesn't matter. Like,
I definitely, I'm team mind your fucking business.
Yeah, exactly. Team
all the way.
Team mind your business. It don't matter. Like,
doesn't matter.
You get fucking one. You literally get one life, and you want to be focused on somebody else's for half of yours. So who cares, dude? Like,
right?
Who gives a shit?
Yeah. So I never understood why people care so much about what other people do. I've never understood that.
I think I think the very base level frosting cake level of that is there's something severely lacking that they're missing, that they're jealous of.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge thing.
I think it's literally a jealousy. It's well, why can you rename yourself, but I can't rename myself? And people are like, you can't. Well, that's it.
Go ahead.
But they can, but there's something in their own head that's preventing them. And it's that own level of, they have an insecurity or something that they can't work past. That, you know, it's just, there's a base level frosting level to it that's just like, it's something, they're jealous that they don't have the freedom that you have, that you are expressing, that you're coming out with. And I think that's the tip of the iceberg, but I think that's a big part of it. Like, it's
a lot of stuff that they need to unpack within themselves.
Yeah. And a lot of people, I think just every human being, I think, needs to do like some fucking actual deep reflective therapy on themselves. But people don't really just take the time and just think about what the fuck they want. And not just about like their jobs, but what the fuck do you want? Like, what will make you happy? Like, what do you, what right now, and it could be the smallest little thing, what will make you happy? What do you want?
Right.
But people don't take the time. They just think, okay, I got to do my job. I got to do this. I got to go home. I got to cook dinner. I got to do this. I got to play this game, whatever. And it's just like going through these motions of whatever and not actually thinking like, man, I would feel pretty fucking good if I've always thought about changing my hair. I've always thought about getting this tattoo. Then go fucking do it. You know, and like go do this thing that you wanted to do. But like it's that nervousness of what are other people going to think? Who gives a fuck?
That's a huge thing. A lot of people just have this, and I don't. It's got to be it's a societal problem where there's just too many people who care what other people are going to say and what they're going to do, what they're going to think. And what people need to realize is that all these other people, the only thing they can think about is themselves anyway. They're thinking the same fucking shit.
Yeah. And I think one of the biggest eye-openers that anybody in their adult life can have, and it sucks because I don't know when you're going to see it, but you will see it, is when you see the crowd that you're not in change sides.
Yeah.
Because when you see that, and you're gonna see it, and then you're gonna see it a lot, and you're gonna see it happen with minor things, you're gonna see it with major things, but you're gonna realize that the crowd is fucking pointless because they just go where the waves take them. You know, like at one point you were all about this thing, and everybody was like, "Man, that thing fucking sucks," and then 6 months later, everybody else is suddenly like, man, this thing is fucking great. And you can go back and they're the same people who said it sucked. And you're like, well, what the fuck? What gives?
Right.
And it's because slowly over time, enough people went on that, they snowballed into it, and now everybody else went with it. And when you start realizing that people do this, and when you start seeing that, I think it's a good time to reflect on what you really actually want and go, look what they did, look how they are, and realize that they don't give a fuck, dude. They're just going with everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, they're making that decision and they're going with everybody. Oh, should I wait until they go? Let me just see, it's that the way we were in school as kids where, when the teacher asked a question and it was a question that you agreed with, but you didn't raise your hand until everybody else did.
Yeah.
That's literally life, and it doesn't go away. Unless
that's a good point.
That never goes away. That is still a thing. You will do that in your job. You will do that out in public places. You will agree with something, but you will not say it until everybody else does because you don't want to stand out, because people at their heart, I don't think people want to stand out. And I think that's okay. They wanted, but there's a big difference in standing out against a crowd versus doing what you want to do. You know, like you should do what you want to do because you want to do it, not because you're fighting this crowd. Because yeah, you have the right. I don't want to stand out. I want to just do my own shit. I want to make content that people enjoy, but I'm not trying to like fucking stand out and be like, look at me, you know, like if people like my shit, cool. If they don't, that's fine. But I want to make it because I fucking made it and it's something that I like. But like, there's a difference in that, like, you know, like standing out because you really want the attention and just doing what you want to do. Like, who gives a shit? Like, you might stand out in their eyes, and that's what I'm trying to word there. Is like you might stand out to them, but you're not trying to stand out. If they take notice of you, who cares? Like, because they're gonna take notice of something else too. And honestly, they're probably gonna snowball into whatever the fuck you like eventually anyway. Like, that's my tangent. Like,
AJ's tangents.
My word of wisdom that I just pulled from my asshole.
Yeah. As we normally do. Yeah.
So I don't know. Hopefully you enjoyed our ranting there. You opened up a Pandora's box here with a submission.
Kumiko.
But yeah, thank you so much for the submission. Sorry that took us a little while to get to it. You know, we had scheduling and everything going on, but panorama.
Parallelogram.
God, what are we gonna do when this panoramic is over?
It's not going to be over anytime soon.
But what are we gonna do when we don't have the excuse of it to fall back on? Like,
and I'm going to go back to my old ways of just telling people how I feel.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. But thank you so much for this submission. If you guys have stories that you want to share, like this, it can be stories like this. This is basic. You got to remember the relationship stories. It's not just like, oh, boyfriend, girlfriend. It's relationships with anything. You have relationships with your family, with your friends. These are relationships. You know, if you can tell us those stories, if you want us to tell them, we'll talk about them, read them, whatever. It's fun. You know, it's cool to read the stuff and then we can share our own dumb fucking thoughts, and you can go, that's cool or that's stupid, whatever the fuck you want. But yeah, you can tell us stories that aren't just like, oh man, she won't stop sucking my dick. What do I do? Help me. Like,
dude, my dick is oversucked.
Yeah, it's oversucked. It's literally, it's like I stayed in the bath too long. I don't know what to do. Like my skin's wrinkled. I'm pruning.
What happened?
What a problem that.
Who decided AJ and I should fucking be on a podcast together? Well, I want to know who approved this.
Sometimes I regret a lot of things in life.
Oh.
How did we get here? I don't know.
But send them to contact@everyonesuckshare.com or hit us up on Twitter at ESH Podcast. We will be back this Wednesday. I can speak words.
Yeah, you can.
For a full episode, slightly altered. You guys will hear all about that again.
It'll be Wednesday. Fine. It'll be okay. It'll be all right.
Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll catch you Wednesday. Goodbye.
Bye.